There have been a lot of insane developments during this offseason, but one that everyone is talking about is the retirement of both Sacy and TenZ from Sentinels and pro play altogether.
Today, I am officially announcing that I am retiring from competitive Valorant.
Both these players were massive reasons for Sentinels' success in 2024, so it's only natural to wonder how Sentinels will do without them. It was announced last month that Bang and Narrate were the players who would be replacing them. But are they good enough to fill TenZ and Sacy's shoes? And how exactly will they fit in with the Sentinels roster going forward? In this video, we'll explore the stats, roles, and gameplay differences between the old and new Sentinels players to determine what the roster changes really mean for Sentinels as a team. What new strengths could they bring to the table, and what new problems might come up?
Oh, it's fixed now. There we go.
What's Harry doing now?
Let's find out if Sentinels made the right roster moves or not. There is no doubt that both Narrate and Bang have incredible potential and are very strong mechanically. Just by watching VCT this year, you could tell that both players were some of the best players in their roles, but the stats also speak for themselves. In my last video, I looked at kill impact across VCT 2024, as well as which players were the best at winning isolated duels. Both players stood out as some of the most impactful players in the world, but also as some of the deadliest players in the world to duel. They were both among the top 10 hardest players to fight in isolated duels from the 2024 season. Since Sacy was never known to be a particularly strong mechanical player, these changes can only be seen as an overall firepower upgrade. But as we all know, there are a lot of contributions that both Sacy and TenZ both brought to Sentinels, which made the entire team mesh together as a unit.
What is happening right now? When you guys want to play on something, we are playing first, we're playing too fast, okay? Second thing, when you guys talk too fast, it gives us an anxiety, and we're not thinking like straight, you know?
Yeah.
Keep calm. The play is gonna be there anyway, like, it's not gonna change anything. It's gonna be even better.
Let's talk about what made Sentinels such a strong team this year, and this is generally what makes every team a good team. For any team system to work well, you need a good number of playmakers to open up rounds and challenge enemy setups, while also having extremely solid and disciplined players who can direct your team towards high win percentage situations. You need everyone working together to maintain this delicate balance, because when it's thrown out of whack, you'll either see teams over-peaking and unable to control the chaos of a round,
He found but nobody low. He's 90 HP fighting another 3 health.
or teams who play way too passively and let their opponents run them over. Everyone has their role in keeping this balance, and the strats that teams run definitely come into play, but sometimes certain players need to step up to take risks, and certain players need to step down to play a bit more disciplined than they normally do. Each round involves different strats and unique situations, but the best teams in the world are all still able to keep this balance. A massive reason that Sentinels were able to maintain this balance consistently was because of direct contributions from both TenZ and Sacy. TenZ was a massive playmaker for Sentinels and was always ready to take opportunities that could swing the game in their favor. TenZ really thrived in playing around these small timings during chaotic situations, and he has a natural awareness for finding these moments. When you pair this with his strong mechanics, he becomes one of the best playmakers in the world, and certainly won a lot of rounds for Sentinels playing this way.
Focus towards CT. Two players waiting in the smoke, and look at that deadly little duo. You don't want that. You don't want that.
In my opinion, TenZ's biggest strength was when he was playing the weak side on defense. Sometimes a team's weak side is just way too weak, in the sense that enemies start feeling comfortable gaining free control, but TenZ always made sure that opponents had to second guess themselves towards that side of the map. TenZ always made their opponents work for every little inch.
First trip cleared, the dog went all the way around the pillar!
Here's a clip against DRX at Champs, where TenZ is rotating onto A after Sentinels have already lost the site. DRX are even able to get the Cypher ult off, but this does not scare TenZ away yet. He gets a spam kill on the bomb planter, which buys just enough time for Zelsis to rotate over and drop the aftershock, and this leads to winning the entire round.
Perfect. Flashback. He's got too much to overcome there.
It's easy to imagine a more passive Omen player just TP away in the position that TenZ is in after being revealed by the Cypher ult. But TenZ always knows how to mix in the playmaking that Sentinels need to maintain that perfect balance of aggression. Despite taking these risks from time to time, TenZ still made sure that Zekken would lead the playmaking efforts and fell back to a more supportive role when no risks were needed. When we look at total first engagements from each player on Sentinels, Zekken is by far the leader with 653. TenZ was still second on this list, but only at 292 first engagements, showing that he clearly knew how to balance his duties as a support player. Here's a great example of how TenZ balanced his role as a playmaker and support in a single round. Against NRG on Sunset, TenZ crosses to the right side of B main. He narrowly avoids being seen by the Cypher Cam from NRG, but was initially hit by the Sky Flash. Take note how John QD intentionally makes sound to make NRG think that he was the one hit by the Sky Flash and no one has actually crossed to the box. You can even see NRG ping it out. John QD has helped set up TenZ in a great position to make a play, and he delivers by getting first blood, then TPing out to safety. Now he can fall back to a supportive role to close out the round. From here, he uses the info from the Cypher Cam to place an amazing Omen Flash for John to secure the round. Keep in mind that this entire exchange happened on the weak side of the map, where we often see a lot of control forfeited, but TenZ helps sprinkle in the playmaking required to keep enemies guessing. Zekken may have led the playmaking efforts on Sentinels, but it was TenZ who knew how to fill in the gaps and knew exactly how to work with every player to make things happen.
Back, and perfectly so! Welcome back to the international stage, TenZ! We bloody missed you. But still, we still got it!
On the other hand, Sacy knew how to take on the super supportive role that really enabled his teammates to succeed. Sacy was the one doing the toughest jobs, which require a lot of discipline and patience. He was responsible for the large majority of spike plants on Sentinels, having planted the spike 269 times, which is about 45% of Sentinels' total bomb plants. Playing this role isn't easy, because you will rarely get easy fights, end up having to play a lot of unfair clutches, and often have to sacrifice your own timings to ensure that you can throw good utility for your team. Here's a round against Gen G at Champs, where Sacy is buying full utility and holding onto his classic with no armor. Keep in mind, this is Icebox. The entire rest of his team is enabled to upgrade their pistols and play into the round with less utility, all because Sacy is sacrificing his own kit to buy enough utility for the team. Sacy has to start this round by holding mid safely for info, while everyone else sets up for an opening fight. When Gen G make their presence known in A main, instead of just joining the fight through screens, which feels the best as a rotator, he's throwing a recon, then going to rafters to shock the plant spot, which actually gets a lot of damage onto KO. Finally, he has to drone for his team to start the retake. He has not shot a single bullet yet and has to play a full retake. Despite also being the one who ends up tapping the bomb, he hits a couple nice shots to give his team the advantage.
John's not able to stick around. One Molly that they had! Sacy with two big ones! Munchkin left alone.
And then sticks the bomb half again before closing out the round himself.
Gotta get it to half. Pauses for the fight as Sacy gets three.
This is the work of a world-class support player who throws perfect utility to enable his team to focus on fighting, and then still has the ice in his veins to pull off the clutch moments even when he has to sacrifice everything for his team. Both Sacy and TenZ played roles where they could thrive and play to their strengths, but it also worked seamlessly with maintaining their team's balance of playmaking and discipline. So what about Bang and Narrate? Are they even players who are capable of doing similar things for Sentinels? The good news is both these players exhibited potential to lead their team as playmakers, but could also play the late round scenarios and make smart and disciplined decisions. Earlier, I mentioned that Bang was one of the highest impact controller players in the world, and for good reason. He was a great playmaker for 100 Thieves and sought out opportunities to open up a lot of rounds. At the Sen City Classic, we already saw him in positions we normally see TenZ play, and he was equally as successful.
You take the TP and it worked.
All right, come on, you gotta get this one. Boom.
Wow.
But we also know that he's capable of closing out rounds and playing the later timings, with some of his best clips being clutches.
But Devi, now noted, just playing here against time, up on top of the room. Bang!
Narrate jumped around playing both Duelist and Initiator for KC last year, so he also has high-level experience opening up rounds. But similar to Sacy, Narrate also found himself in a lot of tough spots last year, playing a more supportive role for KC, and he also managed to pull off some of the nastiest clutches we've ever seen. So theoretically, both Narrate and Bang have the potential to fill in the role gaps, but just because they can, doesn't mean that Sentinels will automatically function as a team again. The biggest problem is finding that balance of playmaking consistently on every map and every comp that they want to play. I'm sure you also felt that something was a bit off during the Sen City Classic, and there were clearly certain moments they weren't able to get that balance right.
We're doing this, I mean, we can't play double spawn, we have to actually play up. We're giving them too much.
Damn. Well, I guess that's what happens when you play up.
Listen to this round on Haven, where Sentinels get an uncontested plant on C, but are in a 4v5.
30 seconds left.
I'm getting in a pivot spot. I can stun spawner garage.
We should look for something, guys. We should look for something. We can't just pull you till. Just come down.
I'm at that spawn to delay. You guys go garage.
Yeah, it's good, it's good.
We have garage.
Oh, no.
Nice.
I'm
on 20
On the spawn.
Right now, darted.
Oh, bro. Coming out spawn.
We first spawn. 2 on the left.
3 on left. On 3, on 3.
Player standing.
Omen is low.
Nice.
There is a lot that could be said about this round. There was never a clear decision on how they wanted to play the post, so Zelsis calls a play into garage. But the issue is, he's the one with all the utility, and he walks in first and dies. Even though he does get traded, this gives Energy a big opening to start the retake. Although this could be seen as a mistake by Zelsis, since he walked into garage first, no one else called or created a play, nor did they make a call to play off site. Zelsis was the one who planted the bomb, but was also the first one into garage, meaning there's a clear inefficiency going on. Ideally, Zelsis calls the garage push while he's planting the bomb, so someone else can get in position for him. But let me just show you what he's used to from last year. This is a very important round that Sentinels played against Heretics at Champs. This round breaks down into a 3v3 with TenZ lurking into garage to draw pressure. Once he challenges the Killjoy turret, he uses Omen ult towards A, giving Sentinels a free plant. Zelsis is also planting the bomb this time, but watch how TenZ naturally moves into position to try and make a play into defender's spawn. This makes it way easier for Zelsis to support someone after the plant. Zelsis immediately moves to be able to throw good support utility, while TenZ constantly looks for timings to challenge Heretics on the retake. Together, they create a beautiful opportunity to win an incredibly important round. I'm not trying to praise or criticize anyone. All I'm saying is that Sentinels are struggling to find that same balance of roles, and I'm not referring to the agents they play, but more so the balance of aggressive and passive playstyles. However, agents and team comps still do play a factor. Narrate played Cypher for most of their games, but was playing Yoru on Bind. Again, there's no doubt that Narrate and the rest of Sentinels played their agents well, but the point is how the teams balance their playmaking. Narrate is suddenly going from Cypher, who has a lot of quiet moments, to an agent who is the centerpiece of all plays. I found that sometimes he played more passively than I'd like to see from a Yoru, like this pistol round where he immediately TPs out of long after he gets a kill. He could have stayed around longer to deny more utility, like the Skydog, which clears all of long. NRG's information advantage in long eventually makes Sentinels rotate one player off of A, and NRG leverages this opportunity to find a way into the round. On top of Narrate having to adjust some minor things, the rest of Sentinels also needed to adjust how they're taking risks as a team. To answer the question from the start of the video, I think Narrate and Bang are some of the best and most flexible pickups that Sentinels could have gotten, but that was never going to be the problem to begin with.
Why did you pick them? Like, what were the reasons why you wanted to go with them?
Yeah, I mean, it was important for me to come into this offseason and know, okay, these are huge shoes to fill, or they're not, you know, they're not shoes that anyone can fill. It's not about filling shoes, right? It's just about building something new.
Like Kaplan said, the right thing is to try and build something completely new, but finding that ideal configuration of roles is still going to take a lot more work. So Sen fans might need to be a bit more patient this time around. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.